Biome.
Is off to
You loyal.
what the fuck? Hey guys, hope
Started out small to a real bond. Cause we're brothers first. Cause we're been through a lot, but it ain't over. We gon' keep it going.
You'll always be with me,
Change the game without even knowing.
and you'll always be my brother.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be there for the last ride. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride. And now you gon' be there for the last ride. Let me tell you.
YOLO? What's happening? This man's actually not gonna send a picture. A link.
A link?
Bro, I have the link up. I don't know what else to say.
That's not
Okay.
You just.
You know,
snap a
I'll
picture.
find the
I
fucking
found-
Twitter link.
I got my own link. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah,
I got
thanks,
the
Matt.
picture up
Thank
for
you,
you.
dude.
That's all it is.
You're doing great, Matt.
I
Don't
already,
worry about it.
Don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great.
This guy, dude. Siphoner. All Allen. You know. Can they take out legendaries, man? The 5 cost? Jesus Christ, dude.
Is this on TFT or what is this? Or who? 4.5 cheat sheet.
It's not a cheat sheet, it's like a leaked thing.
It's also a cheat sheet.
Whatever.
They brought back Shyvana.
Yeah.
Dragons?
All right. Let's talk about it when we get in the pocket. Ready?
Huh?
No.
Oh my god.
You didn't give me a link, so I gotta find it myself.
I do. I don't know what you want me to send you.
Not an image.
Why not the image?
Because I can't have Discord open while I'm recording.
Yeah, dude. I pop it up in front of my screen all the time.
Yeah, you know what happens
Yeah,
to
you're not
recording?
recording on Discord.
You know what happens when you record your screen? It switches to the picture instead of our faces.
I know. Yeah.
Stop!
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I show the folks what we're looking at real quick,
I hate you.
so they get an idea.
I hate you.
We don't have a fucking studio where we can just pan to the TV.
Look, all you had to do was just drop this fucking link. Oh, that's the same link.
Oh.
You guys,
fuck you.
copy link.
you guys are so dumb, dude.
Yeah,
I have it. I have it. You don't need it. We all have it. Don't send anything else.
Oh shit, I'm already live. Oops.
That's fine. Who cares?
Is that Nathan?
Alright, then. Just don't get go to prison for DMCA stuff.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want,
Huh?
alright? Relax.
Yeah, we might go. We might.
Yeah,
have to
I'm
leave.
there. I'm already here.
All right. We ready?
Huh?
This is episode
Um,
13, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, that's what I said.
All right, guys.
Unless I miscounted, but
We ready?
Wait, you guys look at the? Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Look at what?
We'll figure it out. No, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll
let's figure it out. But let's just fucking go with it.
Yeah,
Ray's
you little bitch.
eating whipped cream right now.
That's
Okay.
pretty disgusting.
All right.
not drinking whipped cream over here, Matt.
Welcome everyone to episode 13. We are excited. So, my name is Matt,
I'm Anthony.
I'm Raymond.
and before we started, Shaft was saying that we talk a lot about Riot games and not a lot about Apex Legends. So, in honor of Shaft, what we're gonna do is talk about Riot games. Nice.
Yeah, no, shall we tell the fuck off?
So, to start it off with, we got some league format changes. Do you want to get into that, Trin?
Yeah, I do actually. So a big thing about the league format in the past years is that it seemed like outside of MSI, the spring split didn't really matter. and that was last year. I mean, last year was a very good example, or well, I guess this year was a very good example of that, mainly because Double If have got a lot of flack for not. Sorry, hold on. For not performing well at the spring split, right? And so like Team Liquid got like ninth or something like that in the league, but then they ended up, Double F ended up going to TSM, and then Team Liquid was subbed in tactical, but they ended up making Worlds still in summer. So like a ninth place team in spring, didn't go to MSI. There was no MSI this year, so it really didn't matter. And so then they still ended up making Worlds by the time summer split. And so, which is a pretty good indication that spring split really didn't matter. And so I think Riot's made some changes to make it feel better. And so one of the big changes is that they're instead of two splits, and like you have two separate records for the split, you have one combined record for the entire split through spring and summer. So that's like the big thing. And then the other couple other things that they changed a little bit of the format, as in they for the video I saw, it is like they start off with a tournament at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what the tournament gets you. I think it's just kind of like
I think it's like a preseason type of tournament, like
just like a tournament, just to maybe for the fans and stuff.
Yeah,
it seems like maybe they try to drive competition. Yeah, I don't think it does like seeing anything like that, or because everyone starts with the 0-0 record once the season starts.
So the format is that two teams get to pick each bracket of the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So for the two teams from the last finals, which was TSM and FlyQuest, they basically draft teams into their bracket, right?
Yes.
And so so you'd probably draft more what you would think would be weaker teams into your bracket, so that you'd play them and then have more chance of getting better, right? Is that so? That is
so it's two teams of 5, or two brackets of 5.
2 brackets of 5, yeah.
Yeah, and then do the winners of each bracket play each other at the end of the tournament?
So I think it's just like group stages, right? Oh. So like the top 4 teams probably get out of the group stages. The bottom 2 don't get out, and then they play in like a regular double elimination bracket tournament.
That's right.
So I think that's more of a just like a cool thing. I don't think there's really any impact. Or
I think there's prize money. I think, right?
Oh, there's prize money. That's right. There's prize money for it.
That's good.
True.
I mean,
like
that's always good. But I
something.
think the goal is always Worlds. I mean, that's always the goal for all these teams. I feel like you should just make it one big long season that the whole thing matters.
Well, that's what
they did. They did that.
Okay, good.
So the tournament we're talking about is literally right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
and like I said, it's more of a just like it's more of just like maybe something for the fans, like to see the teams battle. And then they you get prize money, and then Riot donates some prize money to a charity of your org's choice.
I think it's like a holiday tournament or something. Right?
Yeah, and then so the season starts, and then so now they increased it to where it's not 2 days a week anymore; it's 3 days a week, and each team, so they already played twice, but they're playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now, instead of just Saturday and Sunday, I think.
Gotcha.
And so there's more games,
like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And then like I said, and then so what they did to do for MSI, so like spring split was for MSI basically. That's what it was in the previous years. This year, since all games combined through spring split and summer split, right before MSI, they're holding another tournament. It's gonna be just like your generic like spring split tournament. I think it's
like playoffs, like spring split playoffs.
Yeah, it's double. I'm pretty sure it's double. I think everything's double elimination now when it comes to brackets. Yes. So double elimination. The number 1 team coming out of that tournament goes to MSI, but your record is still set. And so, you coming out of MSI, you have the same record. You could be a 4 seed. You won the spring tournament, whatever. You go to MSI, but you're still 4th place when it comes to summer split. And then so they continue on to there, and then they go into you play your games out through summer, and then you go into a tournament at the end of summer to determine which teams go to Worlds. And I think it's just the tournament. Right? Yeah, I think the tournament before Worlds has a slightly different format than like the other tournament.
I think they play best of 5s. I think they changed like the game format.
Something like that. Okay, so but here, so let's see. By the time they get to summer playoffs, which is the playoffs right before Worlds, they it says that all LCS teams will have played 45 matches in total.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I like that. More games. More
Yeah,
chaos.
so basically more game. Okay, so basically more games, and they try to do like as best they can to make Spring Split actually mean something, right? Because they've had trouble with that in the past. As in, 100 Thieves is a good example. They stopped Spring Split, but then they shit the bed in Summer Split, but they still ended up going to Worlds, and they had a really bad showing, making NA look
So
not very good.
it says Summer Split is a triple round robin.
So okay, so they play each team 3 times then. Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and then
Cool, though.
yep.
yeah, so that's why there's probably an extra day, more games and stuff like that. So
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be exciting. Hopefully, it makes it a little bit more competitive, make more sense, and also makes you don't have a season where it just doesn't matter anymore. So
Yeah.
hopefully, we see some good changes from it. I mean, overall, I'm just excited to see like less of the league format, but it's more of like how all these teams have changed so much and see who kind of comes out on top. Really, is what I'm excited for because I think we're gonna see some big changes this year.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually pretty excited for the format changes, as in they make it, spring and summer they combine into one,
Yeah,
so that you
yeah.
can see the growth. You can see the growth of a team from from the beginning to end. So like,
Yeah.
or you can see like a super far like decline. One team starts off hot, but then they slowly decline into summer, and they just can't. It's like,
And I think it
I
makes
think-
it matter more, so you can't like dick off the whole like first
Yeah.
half of the season. So I think like you're gonna see the
People,
team's
like, put
true
in more
nature
effort.
pretty early on.
Yeah.
exactly put in more
Unless it's
effort at the
bad.
beginning.
Yeah.
I think
you're gonna
you-
see what they are.
I think you weed out teams that shouldn't be in Worlds, because
Right.
you're able to find the more consistent team who's able to play through an entire season rather than like
Yeah.
this one team that sucked the first half and then had like a lucky streak or something in the second half, or vice versa. Teams put themselves in a good position in Spring Split, and then they crash and burn the second half, and then now they go into Worlds on an L streak, and it shows, right? Like these guys are on a slump, and they slump in Worlds, and that's our team representation for North America, right? So
It's good. It's good stuff. We always got great teams going. Today.
So a concern I have is that so in terms of if you look at LEC, the European League, it's like they have a very clear dominant like 3 or 4 teams, right? And they always come up and they always stop, and then people were scrapping for the bottom 4 seeds, and basically it's a shit show in the bottom half of the bracket. But the top half of the bracket, they have a very big win to loss, and they're pretty far ahead of everyone pretty much.
Mhm.
I'm my experience is by the time Summer Split starts, I'm hoping that the teams aren't so fucking spread apart that it's already clear to find who's gonna make it and who's not.
yeah,
It's probably very likely it could happen. At
I
least
mean,
there'll be a couple teams. I mean, just like any sports too. I mean, right now, if you're looking at the NFL, for instance, I mean, there are teams. There are teams who are out of the playoffs 3 games ago.
yeah,
This is kind of that's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, I mean, you're gonna
Yeah.
have teams that are probably gonna shit the bed and just barely win anything. And
I guess
you
that's
already know
what
they're out.
that's what the summer. I mean, that's what the end of the Summer Split tournament's for, right? I mean, you shit the bed, you have maybe a bad record where you're you come in as A seed. You're this is they only take the top 8 teams for the summer
Mhm.
tournament, and you come in as AC, you could still you still have a miracle run, I guess, right? And
Yeah,
then
it's possible.
progress all the way through. So yeah, I think it's really good changes. They're doing the best they can to try to make all the games matter, right? And this is kind of the only way to do it is to
Yeah.
make it one big season.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I like the changes. So,
Yeah, cool.
all right. Well, any other final topics on that? The format changes.
No,
Have you guys played Rel at all? The new champ?
nope.
No,
I
I haven't
haven't
either.
even-
But I've
I have
been
not
wowing
touched
it,
that
man.
game.
Too much wow.
I've seen some gameplay, and she seems. I don't know. Okay.
So I guess the next thing we were going to talk about was the Legends of Runeterra. They finished off their seasonal tournaments, so they had tournaments for America, Asia, Europe, and Southeast Asia. So shoutouts to all the champions. The America Championship was the Push P. I think he was from Mexico, I believe. So very cool. Pretty strong decks. Actually have his Overwhelmed deck, which is very powerful. Not so much anymore because now the meta's changed a little bit because of the new cards, which we'll talk about after this. Asian champion was Reroll. Europe champion was Den, which I think I was watching that last week during our last podcast. Was watching him actually win. And
Was-
Southeast Asia champion is Pinpingo. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but
Don't.
so shout outs to
don't-
them. Super awesome. Congrats. Very cool to see like a big Riot tournament. And I think when I was watching the Americas one, there was at one point like almost 40,000 people watching. So
Not bad.
it goes to show you that like people are pretty pumped up. And I'm sure some people were just like, once you get like 15,000, people are like, "What's this?" And they click it and they're watching a little bit because I did see the numbers kind of drop off. But I mean, for a while there was a strong like averaging like 30,000, peaked up to like 40 or something like that. So it's pretty cool. I watched all of it, a lot of fun, very competitive matches. And then right after that, boom, they started announcing all these. Well, they already announced Victor and Zoe, and then they announced Riven Reforged kind of stuff, and then boom, Riven came out. So I'm gonna kind of get into that a little bit, and just kind of all the cards that kind of came with it. So,
Real quick,
yes.
I'll ask you. Did you? I don't know if I don't know if you watched any of the tournaments or like highlights or whatever. But like, did they say that there was like different metas for the regions,
Overall,
or is everyone playing the same stuff?
it was pretty similar. I mean, so I didn't watch the Asian ones, but I did watch European and Americas, and they're pretty similar. Americas had a little bit more diversity and like kind of random decks kind of thrown in. Like we saw like a random Overwhelm deck. I saw a Ledros OTK deck. I saw a couple like people like kind of little spicing it up a little bit more. Whereas
Yeah.
in Europe, when I was watching it, seemed like very just straightforward, like your TF, Elise, Go Hard deck. You had your Trundle, Tryndamere, ramp deck. You had your discard deck. You had your Ezreal Draven deck. So pretty more standard. And America definitely had that too, but all the other competitors had like a random like kind of either Mimi deck or just another strong kind of different deck.
Just trying a deck to catch people off guard. And
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of the times they got banned, and when I noticed when they
Right.
didn't get banned, that deck fucking stomped. Like
Yeah.
Yushbi had his Overwhelm deck, and it was like, I mean, he definitely higher rolled, good draws and everything. The other guy didn't have the best draws, but I mean, like it was gnarly. It was a bloodbath. I
It was
immediately went and
gnarly.
got that deck. I was like, this is busted. So, yeah, obviously he's a way better player than me, so it's probably not busted in my hands. But it was cool to watch. It was fun. So,
That's
but yeah,
cool.
so there's definitely a little bit. Seems like a little bit more spice the American region, and then I'm sure there is in the Asian region. I just didn't see those, so I can't really comment too much on that. But just between Europe and Americas, yeah. But I mean, Mexico dominated, very strong force. Pushby was watching him the whole time. He was doing really good. And I think the tournament ended with being versus United States and Mexico, so that's cool. I think Canada was pretty close up there as well, so it was fun.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see these guys are really good and spending a lot of time on it. So, anyways, so new expansion out. Good stuff there. We got a lot of new cards, new things kind of coming. So what we got is like the kind of the midway part. It's the Cosmic Creation expansion. We got new champions: Riven, Victor, Zoe. 37 new cards, followers, spells, landmarks. There's new keywords. We have augment, and we also have I think there's like reforge, which isn't a keyword, but it's a new mechanic kind of thing, which is pretty cool. It kind of goes well with Riven, and also people found it's kind of busted on Lee Sin, so it just kind of makes that Lee Sin deck a little bit stronger, which is always good because they kind of nerfed it a little bit. So new region updates, new lab features, which don't play lab, and they finally have shinies or prismatics is what they're calling it. So you can just like in Hearthstone, get like you can buy like the shiny version of it.
It's like
So,
an
and that's-
animated thing, like it is in Hearthstone.
It's kind of animated. It's more like a shiny silvery like or platinum silvery
And it's just
border.
kinda like
and-
little
Graphics.
yeah, a little flowy stuff like holographic. Yeah, it looks cool.
Is that for
Yeah.
any card or just specific cards?
Any card you want, I think. Bruised by God immediately made. So there's a new landmark called the Grand Plaza for Demacia. It's pretty strong, really strong. But it's good because Demasia's been weak for a long time. So it may be a little too strong, but I think it's good. It's something to see let the game flesh itself out before you go in and start nerfing it. What it does is when you summon a card, it makes it challenger and +1/+1
Okay.
for that round. So what people are doing is putting them in like Undying decks and things that are just very, very strong. Give your Radiant Guardian, who is tough and lifesteal with challengers, pretty broken. You got these guys who have like when they die, they create a new card. Give them a challenger is always strong. So it's very strong cards. Putting Demacia higher up in like the strength of all the other regions. So that's good because they needed some love for a while. New game board, Undercity game board. It's like it's more like a metal Zon kind of thing. Look alike. New Guardian. It's like a robotic cat thing. It kind of looks like a Niandroid, like Von Yip kind of thing. New card back featuring Ribbon. New emotes. There's a Zon bundle, and then they kind of showcase a new deck, Runeterra deck, which is actually kind of strong. I've been seeing it. I haven't been playing too much. I play a little bit. But I'm watching Mogwai and Bruised by God play a lot lately, and Grappler. So shouts to them. And then let's see what else we got going. So let's go into the cards. So probably the most exciting one was Ribbon. She seems very strong, but not the strongest, I would say, watching the games. It's actually kind of like more going towards
What's her mechanic? Is it more damage or more shielding?
So Ribbon is when you gain the attack token, Reforge. Reforge is when you get a like a piece of her sword because her sword's all in fragments.
Yep.
When my power is increased, and then that's your leveled up. When you get Blade of the Exile, so that's the whole blade reforged. She levels up. So she's already for a champion a 3-mana 3/4, which is really strong. Last thing that was that way was the Badger. And that got nerfed because it was too strong. Because every deck that had Demacia in it, you had to have the Badger because a 3-mana 3/4
strong stats, yeah.
Yeah, really strong body. So then she levels, and then whenever you get the attack token, she reforges. And when my power is increased for the first time each round, increase it by twice as much. So if you give her a +3 might, it becomes +6 instead on her. And then she gets overwhelmed and all these other things on her. So she can be very strong. The only goal with Ribbon is you got to keep her alive because people obviously know the mechanic, so they're going to try to kill her pretty quickly. But
yeah, it's time gate. It's time gate, right? So how many turns does it take to get a full sword?
You could do it in one turn if you have all the cards. So because the fragments are a 1-mana burst.
I thought it was every time.
So you
The weapon hill it's 2-mana burst, and then you start to reforging and all these things. There's other cards that help you reforge.
So you just need the mana for it.
The mana for it, and you need the cards in your hand, obviously.
Okay, so just to clarify, an attack token is a spell.
No. Attack token is when it's your turn to attack.
It's when your attack. Okay, so that's what I thought. So like that can only happen once, like once.
Oh yeah, no.
Right?
She can only get her. You only get the reforge card.
Right,
which the attack token, but there's other ways to reforge. For instance,
okay.
When you play Weapon Hill, you reforge. There's also cards that also help with reforging as well. So. You can high roll it and get some a lot of the pieces pretty quickly. I mean, it's not gonna be one turn. You would build it up, and then you can play Ribbon next turn, attack token, boom, kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty neat. It works really well with Lee Sin because it adds quick attack, overwhelm, and the Blade of Exile does overwhelm and quick attack and +2/0. But it is a 3-mana slow, so it's not like perfect, but it's pretty cool to see that with not. A new thing of Noxus. So that's kind of what we got for Riven. And then we go down. We got some new cards. But we're going to talk about Zoe next. So Zoe, a lot of hate about Zoe. People don't think she's that good. I think she looks kind of fun. But she is a elusive 1/1 like Teemo. Nexus, her abilities, when she strikes the Nexus, she creates a super cool star chart in hand, or if you have one, reduce its cost by 1. And then if you she sees you play 10 different cards, so she's kind of like the submersible cat kind of thing. She levels up. For the rest of the game, when you summon an ally, grant its keywords to all allies. So she's kind of like a Tarek in that way, where she kind of supports but gives all the other keywords. So keywords are like your overwhelm, quick attack, that kind of stuff. So once she levels up, she can get quite out of hand.
Just getting her to level up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you need 10 different cards, and she's a 1/1, so you gotta kind of
does she generate cards?
Yeah, so when she does the next strike, she does the super cool star chart, which invokes a celestial card that costs 3 or less, and there's multiple cards with that. And then what's up?
Getting to 10 cards seems like it'd be very difficult unless you had really low cost. cards in your hand. I guess, right?
Well, yeah, I've seen you play 10 cards of different names, so that's the thing. You got to keep her
Yeah.
alive. So it's another one of those things where you have to keep this card alive.
See, that's for me right there because she's a 1/1 elusive, right? So what does elusive do again?
You can't be blocked unless someone else is elusive. Only blocked by elusives.
Right. So it's either you take a shit ton of damage to your Nexus, right? Or if she's on the board, or you block with her and take some. But it's just a 1/1. It seems, I don't know. To me, it seems like it's a really hard card to pull off.
Yeah.
So what
like-
people are doing is they're combining her with like the likes of Victor, for instance, and so they buff her up.
Yeah.
So you're probably not going to play her immediately because she'll just get killed.
Yeah.
You may play her like turn
Be at her-
4 kind of thing.
Add a bunch
Buff
of
her
stats
down,
to her.
buff her
Yeah.
up. Yeah, exactly. And she's Targon, so Targon has heals. There's
Well, now that then you invested a bunch of cards into buffing this card up, and if you don't get the payoff, then you're pretty much fucked.
but all the
Yeah.
cards you're giving her are also leveling her up too.
True.
Also leveling
Right.
her up. But don't you? I thought you had to get 10 cards to level her up.
Well, 10 different cards, but every
Right.
time, like, say if someone tries to do something and you deny it,
Uh,
boom, that's a card there. You give
Oh,
her
yeah.
a buff to health, boom, that's one of the 10 cards. So, it's not easy, but it's definitely
Yeah.
something you can do.
Yeah.
possible,
So I think
but
she also has
pretty
Spell
difficult.
Thief, which is pretty cool. Pick one of 3 enemy spells played this game and create a copy in hand. So your opponent's played a bunch of spells.
that seems really strong.
You can put that card down and you can steal one of those 3 that they played. So sometimes you might get lucky, high roll, and get a pretty good one. So it can be pretty good. I've seen that play a few times. And then last but not least, we got we got to talk about the Grand Plaza. So this card is fucking, I want to say busted, but very strong. So people are pretty happy about that. I mean, basically every deck is having Grand Plaza. If you're Demacia, you have to have Grand Plaza. And then the next thing that's pretty good is Targon's Peak. This card is very RNG. Reduce the cost of a random card in each player's hand to 0 this round. So what people have been doing is they're playing Aurelian Soul, who's a 10 mana for 0, like turn 5.
Yeah.
That's
Or turn 6. You'll play him turn 5, and then next turn you get lucky and you make your 10 mana 0 cost. You throw him down. He's a fucking like 10/10. So it's like
then the other
you're just
guy
like sitting there like,
FFs.
what the hell do I do with this?
This reminds me
Cry.
of old school handlock with giants, and then like you get a bunch of cards in your hand, then you drop giants for 0 mana. It's like, okay, well, there's this 8/8 on the board. What the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, that's what people are kind of So people are kind of complaining a little bit because it's a lot of RNG. But the thing is, that also gives the other opponent a 0 cost card, so that can so it still works out.
Yeah.
So it's not just
It's not
seems
just
like
like
doing it,
completely.
It'd be really cool for like a counter deck, honestly.
yeah.
Because if you're playing against maybe a fast paced deck that has low cost cards, and that it's not really gonna benefit them that much. Right?
No, it doesn't. If you
Yeah.
make their 1
Yeah.
cost 0, it's like cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like that seems kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. Freljord got a new landmark. It's when an ally survives damage, grant it +1/0, and tough. Tough is like reduce the damage you take by -1. So if you take 2 damage, you only take 1. So on and so forth. People have been trying to make Vladimir is a champ that kind of sucks. Has never really worked really well. Looks like this card is something that can really help out because he damages his allies. So if you by 1, and then when he damages that damage he does to his allies does to the Nexus. So if everyone has tough, he's not really damaging his allies, and they all have +1/0. So that's kind of a good thing that people have been making. And Ionia has a new landmark. Create a Sanctuary in hand. Sanctuary is recall an ally. Can't be cast in combat or in response to a spell. So it doesn't seem that strong to me because you can't use it in combat or in response to a spell. But I think it's a way to just get you more like tempo. So to get more of those like when you summon me, I do a thing kind of abilities. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got some other cards, and then we'll talk about Victor last, and then we'll move on. So Victor, he
I think we
so
talked
he's
about.
been a pretty fun deck, and people have been pairing him with Teemo. So Victor is, you've played 8 created cards. I level up. He creates hex cores. We talked about this last time a little bit. His hex score gives him a random keyword. So that's pretty good. But the cool thing about him and the new cards that come with him is the new landmark. Hex score Foundry is a landmark that round start all players draw 1. Now you think that like, oh, giving your opponent some tempo to draw more cards is bad, but if you pair him with Teemo, have a bunch of fucking shrooms in your deck, and you're forcing him to draw cards to take damage from those shrooms, it can get pretty out of hand. So Grappler's been playing it a lot, so is Control. You just dump a bunch of shrooms in their deck, throw 2 of those landmarks down, so now that guy's drawing 3 cards a turn, and it just kind of kills him slowly. Not only that, but also when you're playing like a more of a slower game, when you're like having expensive cards in your hand, you only have 10 cards in your hand, and then once you draw one and you're over, that card is obliterated.
Yeah.
So it can start to really cause some mayhem to people who have expensive, like, you know, ramp decks or something like that. So it's
Right,
been
they don't
fun.
have enough mana to spend their hand, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of pretty neat ideas coming out, so I'm excited to see what's going on. The
So,
best
okay.
ones... Go on.
So do you remember what's it called? Rogue's like fucking what's it called? Like Murloc?
Miracle?
No, not Miracle. Fucking what's it called? It's an exhaustion deck. So it's basically to fill your hand and destroy your cards, right?
Yeah.
So they make you draw a bunch of shit, right? And then it's like it's fatigue deck. It's like a classic like, rogue fatigue deck. Do you think like so? That's a very unique deck, and it's kind of just more for fun and memes, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's a meme deck.
Yeah, there's I mean, I don't think Runeterra has like super meme decks or anything right now, right? So do you think they're gonna move into that direction?
Full Murloc deck.
I mean, they have meme decks for sure. I mean,
Is it really?
yeah, Teemo Shrooms is usually always kind of memey. So is like some of these OTK decks. I mean, there's a lot of cards that kind of have it that way. But I mean, like putting like 300 Shrooms in someone's deck is like you're never really you're not always gonna pop that off because people are gonna kill your fucking Teemo.
Yeah.
Right.
But if it's one of those things where everything works out together, it can go well. Now, like for instance, I think what's the one? There was one of the KDA cards that came out that Feel the Rush. You pull 2 champions out of your deck and they both become 10/10s. People were doing that with Teemo. So he'd come out
Stay on the
10/10,
field.
elusive.
Yeah.
That's memey, you know what I mean? Like you're not like
Yeah.
you're not doing that all the time.
It,
Kind of
it
thing.
doesn't happen every game, but when it does,
Is there a
Yeah,
mechanic?
exactly.
Do you guys remember the Pogo card? It's like every time you discard it, or every time you play it, the next card you play gets like +2/+2, and so you duplicate your Pogos, and then you keep
Oh,
playing
yeah, I remember that.
Pogos,
Yep.
and the next one would go up 2. Is there any
Yeah.
mechanic like that in Runeterra?
I don't wait, say that one more time.
So what you would do is you'd have a Pogo card, right? Basically, you'd have 2 in your deck, and then
Okay.
you'd basically copy it or do whatever to replicate it, right? And every time you play a Pogo card, the next Pogo card you play is +2/+2. So it would
So balance wise, it only
No,
works
I
if you have
don't-
2 in your deck, but people duplicate their cards to make it more,
yeah.
more effective.
stronger, like a bit
Yeah.
stronger, so you get like a +10/+10 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not that, but KDA, the Go Hard card, it does 1 damage lifesteal, but then it creates copies of it in the deck. Once you play 3 Go Hards, it's actually one of the best like decks in the game is the Go Hard deck. Once you play 3 Go Hard, your 4th Go Hard, instead of doing 1 damage, does 5 to everything on the opponent's side.
my God.
The Nexus and the creatures. So what people have been doing is they are playing a bunch of Go Hards, shoving it into their deck, and then drawing a lot so they can get their Go Hard. So you just kill
Yeah.
them by doing that to them. So that's kind of similar. There's a few cards that kind of put some copies to it. You know, the Spooky Karma came back. That's like Karma Thresh. And that's what it's doing because Karma can play things twice. So you play Go Hard, and then it gets cast twice. So that was a way to do it too. But so far the best one's TF because TF has a lot of draw potential. So that's kind of what they've been doing. And then he has a card that you can copy, put something in your hand, put it back, and you have more copies of it. So you're just getting all these Go Hard. So, you know, someone high rolls and gets like start of the game 2 Go Hards in their hand. I mean, it's
So do you
Yeah,
think Runeterra is ever going into the problem as I mean, there's only so many ideas you can have, right? Do you ever think Runeterra is going into the problem where they are deliberately just stealing ideas from Hearthstone and like making what it feels like kind of the same game?
Maybe eventually, but right now everything's pretty fresh. I mean,
Yeah.
every card game kind of has the same stuff. Like they just
Right.
introduced a discard thing from your opponent's deck. So like, that's always been around with Magic. That was around with Hearthstone.
Yeah.
People drawing more, forcing you fatigue things are in Magic. They're in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that every card game is gonna have a lot of similarities. I think the difference is the mechanics in the actual
Yes.
game. Like
Yes.
Runeterra has its own like attack tokens and how like you can phase things out.
Mhm.
That's always gonna be different compared to Hearthstone and always different compared to Magic. Whereas Magic was a lot of like you had bigger decks, mana that you drew, put down mana, you tapped your mana kind of thing. It was a lot. They have that kind of mechanic. Hearthstone was similar mana to Runeterra, whereas like you have 10 mana, but I mean in Runeterra you have spell mana too. You can have extra mana and things
Right.
like that.
There's
So
different phasings toward the game.
yeah, the
and
phasing's different. So that's always gonna be different. But I mean like
cards are yeah.
yeah, cards are gonna be
Like
cards. and you're
draw
gonna always
cards,
have similar
discard
ideas.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to and Hearthstone has a lot of champion abilities, which is something
Mhm.
that like neither have. So
Right.
I think that alone keeps the game separate enough to where it's not like a copy. I mean, people are always gonna kind of talk shit about this copying this, not copying that, but I mean, end of the day, there's only so many ideas you can have, and like something like Magic that's been around since like
They've done everything.
7 years old. They've already done everything.
Yeah.
So Hearthstone copied from Magic, and so did Gwent, and so did all these other card games that are coming out. So I think I know what you're saying. If they came out of a card of like, I don't know, maybe I have no idea. Maybe they had a Baron card, like Baron, and instead of and they made it like Ragnaros. Randomly do
Yeah.
8 damage. That would be like
Or a
all right, that's
Deathwing
a
card.
great copy. of Hearthstone.
Deathwing,
Maybe.
destroy all cards on the field in your hand.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
that would be
"Alright."
something where I could totally see like, that seems like a fucking copy. But I see what you're saying, but they have their own kind of feel for it, and I think everything feels fresh. And they have so much because of League of Legends champions have their own abilities.
Yeah.
Every champion card they make, is based on that card,
Yeah.
which Hearthstone has nothing to do with. Neither does Magic. It's all their own unique things based on the game of League of Legends. So, which people have been saying that League of Legends copied from Dota for years. So, and they have. I mean, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
So,
I would say I think that's like kind of the hard thing about maybe developing a card game from like, it's just like try to make it feel like, 'cause, yeah, there's only so much you can do and try to make the game feel kind of unique to itself without like, with taking, stuff that people have already done, but try to make it more unique in your universe. It's like, that's kind of the hard or difficult part of it.
I think the core part of the game, like the mechanics, the phasing, the mana, all that kind of stuff, that's how you separate yourself mainly.
Yeah.
And
Makes
because
sense.
Hearthstone also had like tons of cards that could go in any deck. Like
Mhm.
any deck could have Ragnaros or Doctor Boom or whatever, like the gray kind of tone cards or whatever it was. Whereas, Magic kind of has that with like the neutral colors, but Magic came first, obviously. And Runeterra doesn't really have that. You can combine like Shadow Isles and Noxus, but you can't grab some random like just cards that fit anywhere into your deck, though.
Yeah.
So, I think there's tons of differences and tons of similarities, and that's just kind of how it's gonna be. So
Cool.
But enough Runeterra.
Some
Unless you guys have
TFT?
more questions. TFT, more
League of
more
Legends.
Riot.
More Riot. That's what
for
we're
you,
talking about.
Shap. So I'll do a quick little glimpse for the folks at home.
So if you don't know,
Uh,
they're doing their mid-set or mid-season, I guess, changes toward TFT.
Yeah, so they do it for every set.
So
Yeah.
they're basically removing some synergies and adding some synergies as well as removing.
Yeah. So
Just-
they're changing quite a few things, and they're adding some. They're getting rid of some champs and adding a couple new ones. I guess
Okay,
one that
so from
everyone
what-
knows about is who's the fucking guy that makes armor again? Elderwood. It's all over the place. Come on.
That makes
upgrades.
armor.
That makes
Anvil
armor.
dude.
Huh?
The Anvil guy.
Or
Orn?
Ornn. So Ornn is gonna be Elderwood now. That's like their big one. He's the new legendary.
he looks so
Uh,
fucking savage. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. And they're also adding in
The
new the chick with the gun. I don't know like anything about League anymore. 'Cause
Samira.
I'm playing so much Samira. Playing so much fucking WoW.
They're adding a couple. Is that Nasus?
Daredevil is Samira. They're keeping Set. They're changing.
One thing I've seen, so they took out Dusk and they took out Moonlight.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I saw when I looked at this spreadsheet that you linked us.
Yep.
So they took out Dusk. Dusk was that comp that you pushed to 9 with, and Dusk was universally good because it buffed up everyone, right?
Yep.
And so you push to 9, you get 4 Dusk in, and then you put in a bunch of legendaries, which have all really strong stats and spells, and you're basically just strong with just that, right?
They also took
And you
out-
don't have any other synergies.
It looks like kind of what's replacing that is Siphoner because it's the same thing of 10% for allies, 40% for Siphoners. That's what Dusk did too.
But
It was
it's
like,
just lifesteal or
yeah, it's just lifesteal, but it was kind of like
yeah.
it's a synergy that they're keeping but replacing with Siphoners. It looks like.
They also took
So I do-
out Shade and replaced it with Slayer, I guess.
Yeah,
which
looks
is
like it'd be kind of like Slayer.
yeah.
So I do want to talk about how they took out Moonlight, and I thought I liked Moonlight. It just seemed like it was kind of
Hit or miss.
yeah. So it was like it was very hit or miss, but I liked it, and I thought they would try to keep it, maybe improve on it. Instead, they just axed it, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Moonlight was fun, but a lot of people complained about it saying it was too strong, which I kind of disagree with. If
You
I don't
had-
think it was too
high-rolled-
strong.
but people like complained about it. If you high rolled Moonlight, like sure you were up there, but
It fell
was
off
never like
toward
a
late
guaranteed
game.
first
It-
kind of thing. And
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like a top 4 thing,
It,
maybe.
fell,
but,
it
like,
definitely
Yeah.
fell
And
off
y-
late game.
you were only really guaranteed to get Moonlight like maybe 20% of your games. You had to get Diana or
Aphelios, and then
Lissandra.
they nerfed Aphelios too, and so like
Yeah.
Moonlight, which wasn't strong. So I feel like with the like a mid-season change, they could have added maybe their Moonlight and maybe gave it like buff, and then it would be like good. I think maybe this might be sound really chaotic, but I was wondering more of like so they get the 3 buff and the 5 buff, right? 3 buff you get 1 4-star and 5 buff you get 2. And I was more like I don't know, man. Maybe you could like nerf it to a little bit to where like if you hit all 5, maybe all your Moonlights are 3 stars or something like that, right? Or instead of like having like a bunch of 4 stars. I don't know. I feel like I felt like
the hard thing about
it was a
getting
good
4
mechanic.
stars is everyone already had to be 3 stars.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I
So
feel
that's
like it was
tough
kind of
to
a
get 2 4 stars.
I feel like it was kind of a good mechanic, except they just maybe like I don't know, just a little bit of tweaking and like how like
Yeah, I
maybe
think instead
on
of
the buff, I don't know.
nerfing the actual champs, they should have done something with the actual like
Synergy.
But the trade,
synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah,
That's
I
what they
don't
did. They
know.
like nerfed Diana, they like nerfed Aphelios, but they weren't like changing the actual like the synergy kind of thing.
Yeah, so
which-
the problem so they nerfed it, and then like they fit into like some comps, right? Like assassins or like hunters or whatever it is.
yeah.
But like but you couldn't make like a Moonlight comp. Like it just wasn't good. It just like
Yeah, it was
but maybe it's something that they always had planned to get rid of. I mean,
maybe.
I'm sure when they make these new sets, they aren't like, all right, we have some time to now think about what's going to happen in the mid set. I'm sure they already have ideas of what's going to happen and what's going to come in and phase out.
yeah.
I think the 4-star mechanic was really cool. I think they
I
bring
thought it
it
was
back
fun.
in a future
Yeah.
set and like maybe improve on it a little bit.
it's
I'm sure
crazy
they will,
seeing
'cause
it for the
they're
first
bringing
time.
back a lot of
Yeah.
set 1 stuff right now. That's what that's apparently what all this is about. Is kind of bringing back all that old school set 1 shit.
Well,
And go
so
on.
I mean, looking at this, Dragon Soul seems really interesting because I don't think we've ever seen anything like that, where it passes on traits to another ally.
Well,
we
was
saw-
one
there
when
was
people
one,
died,
yeah.
People got stronger.
Oh, it was what's it called? The dark one. The dark
yeah, that
no,
was last
Jid.
set.
it was
Yeah.
with
Oh,
Jin,
yeah,
Karma,
yeah,
and,
yes.
and other stuff. Jarvan was in there. I can't remember what the fuck the trait was called.
Neither can I, but yeah, it kind of had that, but it's still different. I mean, I know what you're saying, Ray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's neat. People are actually pretty excited about it.
yeah.
One thing I saw that was really cool is I do want to talk about the okay. I want to talk about this. I'm talking about them getting rid of Shade, and then turning Zed
Slayer.
from Shade into something else. I think the problem is if you high rolled Shade, you pretty much won the game no matter what because
Yeah.
it dropped aggro. Shade dropped aggro, which I think was the real problem. Was that like you could get someone onto Zed, but then he drops aggro and then he killing your ult.
I also thought it was weird to have like Shade and Assassins. I thought they were kind of similar too because they both go to the back line. They both like go target like people in the back. They both like disappear. Like Shade was different because of like the synergy they got.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was strange to have like both of them in the game. So I think it'll be a nice change to have like not 2 things that go after your back line.
I'm not gonna
And
lie,
Zed, who
Slayer
just high rolled.
Slayer
killed
looks
you.
really toxic though.
Yeah, so like the Slayer buff, I mean, so the regular Z items you had before was what was RFC and like maybe Rage Blade or Hurricane or
Yeah.
something like that, and then a defensive item. This just makes that build item or build path stronger, right? Because it gives you
Yeah,
lifesteal,
'cause now
and
you
then
have
you got more
lifesteal.
attack speed. Yeah, and you're just fucking smurfing on everyone. So
Basically,
I don't know.
High roll Zed. That's what.
Yeah, I don't know if this fixes the problem with
No,
Zed or
it-
not,
But do
but
Slayers still jump to the back line?
oh no, I guess not. So maybe that's how. Well, I guess maybe that's how
I
they
mean,
fix it because Ninja
But I don't know
now.
if that matters if you give Zed 3-star Zed RFC. Fucking.
Actually, yeah, that might make him more
Infinity Edge.
more safe, and then have him be able to pump out more damage because he's
Yeah,
not
now
jumping
he's
into
just
the-
in the back
Giant
line.
Slayer RFC IE or whatever. He's just gonna be just killing that front line, and that's it. So
And they also give him lifesteal too. So I mean,
Yeah.
so Zed already kind of looks like a problem. I think
Yeah.
the Slayer thing is like maybe you have to.
Well, now you add Samira, who also gets Daredevil into that synergy.
Acquire a new target.
if
Ratio,
the
dash
target is
towards
out of
them.
her range, she will dash towards them with each attack on a new target. Her combo rating will increase.
I'm not sure how that
So
plays
she's gonna
out.
be should be dashing around everywhere. And
Yeah.
so it's should be like more of a trying to stay
And
alive.
while
and-
she's dashing, she's attacking other people. She will
Yeah.
dash towards them with each attack on a new target. Yeah, so she'll dash
So-
like attack a new target kind of thing. Kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading that right, but
It seems pretty strong. I honestly can't see a reason why you would go 6 Slayer rather than just 3 Slayer, and then like have
Yeah.
other abilities with it. 6 Slayer just seems kind of like overkill. I don't know. Maybe high rolled Slayer or something like that, but
I guess
I mean, you're gonna have what? It looks like Zed, Olaf, Tryndamere. I have no idea what that 3-star guy is. I think he's supposed to be, or the 3-cost guy. I think he's supposed to be a new champion that's coming out.
Yeah, I don't know
Samira.
who that is. But
Yeah.
let's see, one
It's
of them
skin
is
of
a
some sort, I can't
duelist.
remember.
I'm just trying to look at
Tryndamere
the other
also-
synergies that would
Yeah.
go with, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is is Executioner. I think Executioner is gonna be fucking insane. It's
Yep.
kinda nuts.
yep.
It's gonna be like Executioner's basic attacks and spells always quickly strike targets below a certain
And they're
threshold.
bringing Kale back. No, man.
Basic
Yeah, I
always
mean-
crit. So you don't even need to build the crit items, right? You just need to build.
But I mean, you build like Infinity Edge and you're smurfing on people, right? And then it's like you make one of them an assassin, they get more crit damage bonus. And it's like, oh
Yeah,
man,
dude,
I
if
think
you
that's
get
gonna be kind of
fucking-
nuts.
If you just get 4 executioners, you're always critting.
See, I think
That's
so.
so
This
dumb.
might turn into the Dusk problem, the way you just roll executioners and then put a bunch of fucking.
It's
legendaries in.
gonna be Divine Executioner is gonna be the team comp, and you stack Kale again.
Kale.
I go Kale.
More Kale, dude.
I know
Yeah,
pivot.
it's gonna be how fast can I get to 4 fucking executioners? Because executioners is kind of expensive because there's a 3
4
cost
costs.
and 2 4 costs.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, bro, you just fucking level up to 6 as fast or 7 as fast as you can and just fucking roll.
Yep.
Hope you get and then hope by the time you got there you got a spatula with whatever else is gonna make the executioner. And bam, you got 4 executioners. You were destroying
Yeah,
everyone.
this is gonna
Stack
be back when the set first came out, and I think Warwick was super strong. So you rolled Divine like Duelist until you got your Warwick, and you stacked the Warwick. I think it's gonna be pretty similar where you do that into like Divine Executioner, and then you just roll the game. Is how I see this playing out.
Yeah. Well, who's this guy? Who's the first? Is that Kindred?
Yeah, it's Kindred.
It's Kindred.
She's staying in
Kindred.
the set.
So they're keeping Hunter then, right?
No,
No, they got rid of Hunter.
you
So,
just
so what is Kindred going to be? Kindred's going to be Executioner
Spirit.
and
Spirit.
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 Still. Yeah.
So you could just start off with like Spirit, begin with, because they're keeping Timo and Yumi.
Spirit.
and-
Oh, they got rid of Ari.
yeah, they got rid of Ari, but Ari was not really that great with Spirit. So But
Yeah,
anyways,
should be an
whoever this-
interesting.
whoever this 1-cost chick is, you could just start with Spirit because Timo's
It's
Spirit's
Diana.
pretty good. Diana. Okay. So you could do that and then have like, I don't know, a couple other bullshit in, and then just hopefully you win and high roll all the way up to level 7, and then you just fucking roll for
Yeah,
whoever.
I mean, I consider
Kale is and the other
Spirit.
chick is.
I already considered Spirit strong in set anyway. It was like
Yeah.
it wasn't bad if you picked it up, and you had potential of like pretty much top 3, top 2 with Spirit, and then like
and
maybe another above.
executioner, you really only need what 4 executioner. This is something you could almost like force every fucking time.
Yeah, I think. Well, so the problem with
Because
that
you just
one is
really
that.
need Kale.
Well, the problem is that is you don't have any frontline, and so you would have to kill everyone before they got to you.
So I go
like, the
divine and
Vanguard, baby.
So yeah, so the problem would be is like if you hit like fucking 9 Elderwood Orin or something like that, dude. Fucking, you're probably not getting through that line with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
true. I also
I'm really sad.
Sorry, go ahead, Tran.
Elderwood Executioner, Vanguard Executioner. That's what I'm doing every game.
So I'm really excited for Orin, but my concern is like, it's either he's gonna be like I feel like it's gonna be impossible to balance. It's either he's gonna be really good or really shit.
Well, the thing is, with this season, all the 5-cost units have been pretty broken, right? Like you can go a straight whatever comp and then just shove legendaries in,
Some legendaries,
and then and you'll win the game, right? So
I think they're overcompensating for when I think last season when legendaries were shit, like you didn't really need them.
yeah,
So I think they're like, oh, now you need them, and now it's like too much because
it's like
there's most games I get first place in is I just fucking high rolled some legendaries and sprinkle them in.
Yeah.
like they don't even fit. I just throw them in and then
they carry your comp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also realized Ninja's still in here, so Ninja Slayer should be an interesting combo with Zed gaining the bonus attack damage and spell damage.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I was already doing ninjas
I
all the time.
hate
so.
you so much. So I'm actually really excited for this set. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be fun.
it's always good to see some changes in TFT. People always get super hyped about it. And I'm super hyped about it. It's gonna be cool.
All right, then we got going next. Well, let's keep it.
Wait, okay, real quick. Did they say what the artifact items are for Ord? Or
I don't
is it
think so.
like? I mean, I'm really excited to see what kind of items they about for that. Okay.
You Google it real quick, but I don't think so.
Sure.
Um,
Anyway, go ahead.
League MMO.
Oh yeah, so they just announced an MMORPG for League of Legends. I don't think it's just this is just like
It's literally just starting. They
Yeah,
like
so-
they are hiring a team to start working. on
I
it.
think they're
Yeah,
hiring
sorry.
a team to start developing it. I think they already have the core of what they want, like produced. Like,
Nope.
I think they have the thought process behind it.
Nope.
I mean they have the lore and that's it.
Ghostcrawler literally said he's literally starting from scratch.
Like,
Like scratch.
the
Like he
whole
like
thing?
like he just announced
Yeah.
he is starting to work on it and he is hiring people to do it.
well, then
And-
I guess we're gonna
I,
when we're 50.
it's gonna
we'll
be a
play this
while.
game.
It's not gonna be the next couple years, or it's gonna be like
Oh, it'll be like 5
like
years.
five
after.
years.
five
Yeah.
plus at least.
Yeah.
So it's a Riot game. It's like they're working on Valorant for like extreme long time. Like so, I raided with a person who was on the Valorant team before it was announced. She didn't tell me anything about the game. She told me after Valorant was released that she was on the team working on it when we were raiding together, and that was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they're working on that for a while, and so I'm assuming this is probably gonna be one of the same things. Is they're gonna take their time. You're not gonna hear about it. You're not gonna hear anything about it for a little bit until it gets closer to when they're closer to releasing it. And
I mean,
yeah.
we've always discussed that they'll make an MMO.
They have
Okay.
to. They have
so
to.
so I was talking,
Especially once they release all those other games, like the card game, the first-person shooter. Then they have a fighting game. Then they just did this other, more like a turn-based RPG kind of game. They're definitely gonna. I mean, you do
Oh.
like, do MMOs next.
Riot always said that they weren't going to do it. It's mainly because it's like it's a very hard genre to get into and to make well. But I think it's just people expect. Okay, so with MMOs recently, it's like it's basically WoW and like FF14, and then like they're like, and even the image of those two genres or those two titles in people's eyes are like not like super positive all the time. And so like the whole MMO genre is hard to like come in. So like I think people were like they want an MMO from Riot because Riot has done good things with their previous games. They have a good record of like making really good games.
Yeah.
And people think that a Riot produced MMO is going to be awesome.
Yeah, but an
Well,
MMO is such a different.
They
beast, man.
also
is.
have like
It
the
is.
lore and just like everything.
Right, they have a lot to work with, right?
They
So they
have
have
a
the
lot.
tools.
They have the characters. They have like
Yeah,
the
and
regions.
I think that's the good thing about why like Final Fantasy and WoW did so well because they already had substantial lore that came with it.
It had a
I mean,
universe that they
Final
had a
Fantasy
universe.
already had a huge universe of the gods or summons or aeons, whatever they called them in that game. You know, that they could just really expand on that. I mean, every game is their own story. Square Enix is obviously really good at making stories, anyways. And then WoW, I mean, they had books, they had Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, all this stuff before World of Warcraft came out. So they had a huge lore as well too that was already built in. So I think that's one thing I'm worried about New World is that like they don't have that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
they're
one
just
thing about Star Wars that kind of was nuts that it flopped so hard because their lore was really not that interesting and good. They just kind of like, I don't know, they kind of shit the bed there, and their game was also kind of lackluster as well too. But
Yeah.
you'd think like when I thought they made that Star Wars MMO, I was like, yo, this is it, man.
I think if they, I think
Star-
if they released Star Wars today, like if they started development like 5 years ago and they released it today, it'd probably be a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Like substantially a lot better.
Well, they'd
I
have
think
to
they-
make it differently though, because the PvP was trash. And
Well, so I'm saying, so they when they made the game, it was like
2000.
like 10 plus
Yeah,
years ago.
it was a long time
so
ago.
like
yeah,
they probably didn't have a lot of things developed, and technology then was like a little best. So like they could, but if they made it today, the graphics would be a lot better, and they probably would. I would
That
assume they
game
have a
would be-
team that would be better. Have a lot better lore and like a lot of things that more people with more experience could flesh out and make it better, right? People, I assume the people that are on that team were newer to most because the only MMO out there was like WoW, basically, right? This,
Yep.
You try to copy it, you can copy some things, but it's not gonna feel the same as
yeah.
if
I think
WoW,
the issue with Star Wars is they try to copy and not copy WoW to a point where like it felt like when I was questing and everything, I was like, I'm playing WoW, but I'm Star Wars. But I did PvP, it was like it's weird, like so different, strange thing. It was not good. And their end game was kind of strange as well too. They had like kind of different mechanic. I think they tried. I feel like they tried too hard, and they just didn't come in with an open mind. I don't know though. Maybe I'm not there, but that's kind of how I felt when I was playing the game. It just didn't like. The only reason that kept me playing the game for a little bit was it's Star Wars, but it wasn't like really enticing other than that.
I feel like Star Wars had like a perfect setup. Like they have the universe,
Mhm.
and they
have
Star
Wars.
they have the universe, but they also have the role. As in, like you become a Jedi or whatever, and then you develop. You grow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you develop your powers.
You get more
train,
stuff. Yeah, it's like literally perfect for like an MMO setting.
Yeah.
And so okay. So talking about this, I was listening to or I was watching Double stream, and he was saying, you could, and when you think of MMOs, like you can see like WoW, you can see WoW, like obviously WoW's already created, but
you can immerse
see WoW
yourself.
being, right?
Yeah.
And then like Final Fantasy, you can do the same thing. You can you can see yourself becoming a character, like choose a class, develop, get more spells, and you do the same thing in WoW. And I feel like Star Wars had that too. Like you can be Jedi, you can increase your powers, you can level up and do this. But the thing is, like, how do you see League of Legends like transfer that kind of like MMO?
Well, so you have all your regions, right?
into an
Like,
MMO kind of thing. Yeah.
So I think one. Actually, go on, Ray. Sorry.
well, I'm just saying you have all your regions, like Demacia, like and you.
Demacia, Targon,
y-
Shadows.
yeah, and
Void.
so
Yeah.
you can be like someone
so, like-
from that area, right?
I think they'd have to go almost like a. So what their lore is gonna have to be based on, how your character's gonna have to be based on. I think it's gonna be more based on regions,
Yeah.
kind of like how New World is.
Yeah.
And the conflict between regions, whereas WoW was more like Horde Alliance, and they had all the different classes. I think what they're gonna have to do is, I don't think it's gonna be based on the champions. I think
It can't
champions
be.
like Ari and that kind of stuff
No.
will be more like NPCs,
Part of the quest,
big
right?
name,
Yeah.
yeah, big name NPCs kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think really they could just toss in like whatever everyone else does, like a hunter, a bard, that kind of shit. They could do
What's
that
that?
kind of stuff, no
Yeah.
problem.
So what I'm saying is they don't have those things defined like now, right? So like I said,
True.
and like when like WoW and Final Fantasy, they have classes, they have mages,
Yeah,
they
you have
bards,
classes
they have.
in game though. I mean,
Well, so in League you have mages, but they don't all have the same spells.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
assassins, but they all don't do the same kind of assassin stuff.
yeah, you have to generalize it, right?
So you have tanks, but they're all different tanks. Like you can't be a Scion, you can't be an Orin.
Well,
you have to
your
be its own
tank,
right?
maybe your tank abilities are based off of the region, right? So each region has like classes, and all those classes have varying.
I think they have a lot of work ahead of themselves to kind of.
That's what I'm saying. There might be just so many things in the air. Like what Devil said kind of really makes sense to me. Isn't like I just can't see it.
But to kind of play devil's advocate though, Final Fantasy. When you play Final Fantasy, when you played the games, they didn't have like tank, hunters, priests. I mean, they kind of did. They kind of had like in the very, very early stages, they had like your red mage, your black mage, your white mage. They had like your fighter. But I mean, like when you're playing, if you didn't know that, like from the old school, if your first Final Fantasy game was like Final Fantasy 9, you don't sit there and think like, oh, there's subclasses. You just think of them as like heroes and champions again, like League of Legends.
Right.
So they transferred it really well into Final Fantasy 14, where you were a bard or things like that. Now, if you are real deep Final Fantasy, you would know that like way back in the day, they had all those different types of like, red mage, blue mage, all that kind of stuff, and their characters are based on those initial designs. We were talking about that a little bit when they talked about Final Fantasy 16 that's coming out. That this one guy is based on red mage and the other guy's based on a fighter. So they do kind of have that, and especially in Final Fantasy Tactics, they definitely have that, like the different kind of mages stuff. So. Well, only hardcore fans would really know that. So same thing with League. I mean, they kind of have that basis. Assassins, they have mages, they do have supports like Lulu, stuff like that. So they do kind of have that basis. They just have to just form it in a way
to make
it individual, like what Ray was saying with regions and stuff like that. I think it's possible.
A
lot of work ahead, though.
Your healers, I guess, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you have your healers and your buffers, right, as your support.
But then you also have like tank supports too. Like, so is a tank support a tank, or is it a
yeah, but I think you're going too in depth and thinking too much about League and not as much as like
an RPG.
Transferring the League.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna have to make it more broad because the thing when you're making a champion, you make it very specific, very niche, just very characterized for that thing.
Yeah.
But now that we're doing an MMO and you're going to have multiple people being priests or warriors or whatever, you're going to broad stroke it. You're going to bring it back a little bit and have a more broad stroke. And the more the specifications will be more of the regions. And then also, wow, I mean, if you're a druid, you can still be a DPS, a tank, or a healer. So that's what they'll do. They'll be like, oh, you're going to be, I don't know, an assassin. Well, you can be a like a spell type assassin. You can be a melee assassin, or you can be this kind of assassin, maybe. I'm this spitballing.
And you can play a Yordle assassin.
But if you're Shurima, you'll be, I don't know, maybe you'll have more like earthy kind of spells and things like that. I don't know. There's lots of things they can do with it. But I see what you're saying.
Just another like fucking like 3-minute discussion just got me so hyped for this fucking game, dude.
No, I would love to see region-based classes that all have different abilities based off of that region. That would be cool.
They could really expand on it. But talking about like seeing like WoW as an MMO and Final Fantasy MMO, I think one thing that really hurts Star Wars always is that you have Jedi, you have Sith, but then like
you could
that's
play
really it.
Yeah.
And then what they add in is like bounty hunters and special ops kind of people. And I think the weird thing is when you're playing the game, you're like, in real Star Wars lore, you know, unless you're like a savage bounty hunter, like
you die.
You know, Boba Fett, you're dead.
You're
fucking,
dead.
Dude, a freaking Jedi's gonna murder you, or a Sith's gonna murder you. Like, doesn't matter. Now, what I think is like kind of the hard part about it is you don't want a game just filled with Jedi's being, which I think I always figured that would be the way because there's already different types of Jedi. There's Guardian.
Yeah.
There's like the support kind of Jedi. There's all that. There's
They also have different fighting styles, right?
Yeah.
There's different sword styles.
Yeah, but the issue is you can't have everyone be a fucking Jedi. So I think that's the tough part when you're trying to be specific. Because I remember when I played Star Wars, I wanted to be a Jedi, but I was like, everyone's going to be a Jedi. So I did Special Ops guy, who was technically like the healer or DPS. You could be bounty hunter. So I think that was a tough part there too. Is it's tough to like be more diverse in Star Wars.
Jedi is like the star of the show, right? Everyone wants to be.
Yeah, everyone wants to be a fucking Jedi. So if you're not a Jedi, how do you make Special Ops guy seem?
You'd have to break down. You'd have to break down the Jedi classes even more into like very specific subclasses of Jedi
and
that
then
do
I think
specific
you throw
things.
in like Mandalorians because it's already well put into the lore that Mandalorians fought and killed a lot of Jedi.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Sith were able to do that, and there are creatures in the game that have like innate Force stuff kind of stuff. But I think that was always the hard part with it. That's kind of how I felt too. I was playing the game where I was like, man, like the Jedi would just fucking murder me. You know?
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I'm definitely hyped about the MMO. So, but should we move on?
I feel like I had something to say about that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, cool. Excited for it. Yeah, great.
Hope to see the game before I die, though.
Okay. Let's talk about a couple things real quick. Among Us to Nintendo Switch.
Why?
Do we give a fuck?
No. Why?
Because it sucks on anything but the fucking computer when you're with your friends on a voice chat.
Yep. So it's
Sorry.
just what's it called, a cell phone, a phone port, basically, right?
Phone
Yeah.
port on a fucking console, and you know what? I wouldn't be upset about it if it wasn't bad on the phone, but it sucks
Yeah.
on the phone because people are just quitting in and out. No one gives
So,
a shit. Like it's just
It's
a
not the
fucking
same if
mess.
you're not in voice
Wait,
chat. Right? It's
yeah.
playing the game
Yeah.
through text.
That's part of it, right? Is having to verbally lie to people and like go through that process, right? When you're on the phone, it's just you're typing whatever.
it's not fun.
You
So
can't
the
sound
Switch is-
convincing. It's
Yeah. The Switch is gonna be the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be bad.
I'll-
I think if anything, what kind of ports they should have, which they never have done this, like Pokemon trading card game, Magic the Gathering card games would be crazy on this thing.
yeah.
TFT,
Hearthstone.
Auto Chess, you know, that would be nuts. Instead, they fucking decided to make their own Pokemon or MOBA, which looks like garbage, hot garbage. Basura.
Unless you can put some type of voice chat feature into the Switch game, you know, which would allow you to like communicate verbally, you know, like during meeting times. I don't see it being like enjoyable.
So yet again,
It's just-
Nintendo, WTF, mate.
Unless you want to sit on your phone on Discord and then play on the Switch with
yeah,
your
but then
friends.
you might as well
with-
just be on your fucking computer.
Yeah, so I feel like the Among Us to Nintendo Switch is only like for people that are interested in it, which is probably not a lot of people. They're only gonna be interested for like 10 minutes. It's gonna be
I think it's
It's
people
gonna be
the only people who are interested in the phone one, which is weird to me. 'Cause a
yeah,
lot of
which is
people play
weird.
the phone
It's
one.
not even the game.
It's
Yeah.
not fun. It's
Yeah,
so
it's not the same game at all.
I think people who are playing on the phone are just in the hype of
I
like
think they're
watching
just
this guy's toast and
trolling
stuff,
people.
and they're like, "Oh, I play the phone now," ooh, and they're kids and they don't know what the hell's going on, anyways.
yeah.
But yeah, I kind of have to say about that. So Nintendo, pick your game up, bro.
So talking about the more Among Us stuff is Fortnite released their basically Among
It's
Us
a
mode.
I think it's a limited time game mode, which is basically Among Us in Fortnite.
Well, I feel like okay, so limited time, but like I feel like there's a lot of because it's not. It's kind of the same game because it's in the universe, but it's like not the same. It's just,
It's different
it's,
and like
it takes a lot of effort to like implement that, right? To like make
I
that
think
kind of game.
maybe it's like a test
Yeah,
type of if it does well, they'll keep it type of thing. But
right.
I don't know. I was watching like Ninja and Tim and like Pokey play, and it just didn't look as fun. But maybe I
So,
only
okay.
watched for like 10 minutes, and it was just
Real
like,
quick, did you see the video that was on the left side of the
yeah,
screen?
the really
Is that-
shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in game. So the,
Yeah, what is that?
so watching the stream, you had the game, and then off to the left was kind of like people's faces and like a voice chat type of thing. I don't know if that was in game. If it was hot
really
garbage.
shitty. Yeah, it was really
Hot
shitty.
garbage.
Should just use streamer. Like
Yeah,
a
it,
stream
like,
or something.
This
It
is
was
like
really bad.
early, like I don't know if I was on AIM fucking video chat is what I,
think
would feel
they're
like.
trying to hop onto like this like, oh,
They are.
Among Us is big. We gotta make a game real quick. Like
They are.
Among Us. It's like, come on, guys, chill. But that's just kind of the environment we're in now. It's the market we're in now. Is something's hot, we gotta make it to copy it and hope we get people to kind of buy in enough to where we can maybe develop it more. Or just get a nice quick cash grab.
I think that's just Fortnite's thing though, because Fortnite's thing is like
Make it better.
they like
What
they
pot
they,
put it
they,
in, yeah.
they absorb a bunch of ideas and they just put it in their game, and then
Yeah.
they sometimes they're a hit, sometimes they're not, but like they have like so much open creativity. Like I don't like Fortnite, but they do a lot of cool shit.
No, I respect
Yeah.
Fortnite's like thinking out of the box, their collaborations, and just like how they let the game like develop and like just bring in whatever and see what works, right? Like
Yeah.
they do concerts in their fucking game, or like
Yeah, they do
when a
wild,
movie
like,
drops,
in-game
they
events.
have like a collab with that movie. Like they have Master Chief as a fucking
Yeah, I
skin
would say
in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't generally.
Does that hurt your soul seeing Master Chief in fucking
A little bit,
Fortnite?
a little bit.
Does that
I
hurt your
mean,
soul?
A little
It's-
bit,
I mean,
but
whatever it is.
it's
I don't know.
like it's cool, like having that in the game, like in the game though, right? Like if you were a big Fortnite fan and they're like, oh my god, Master Chief, right? That would be cool. But we're not into Fortnite, so it kind of hurts.
Yeah,
I'm not, and I'm actually not into Fortnite because I just can't build and shoot at the same time. It's
I don't.
yeah. The whole building aspect of the game is so wild.
fucking
to me.
hard. I can't do that. I'm not good enough. So
But it's like, so looking at it from like a younger generation's perspective, right? So that's like, I feel like a lot of the Fortnite players are a younger generation. I think
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
all the events they do, all the concerts they do, you know, they do like live like in-game events. Like you have to be on during this time to get this event, and
Yep.
it's like something like that is like crazy to me. That's like
Yeah.
like they do like, because like you drop a bunch of people into a BR. It's 100 people. You're in the BR, and then you start this event, and it stops everything. And it just for everyone
Everyone's
that's in the
just-
game, it stops everything, and they go through this event, which just seems like it'd be very
complex.
from a dev perspective,
Yeah.
it seems like it'd be very
Seems
complex.
like a terrible idea, but people like it.
But no, but they do a good job of it. So being like from a younger generation, you see all this stuff that happens. It's like, you know,
It's cool.
lots of events, lots of cool things, lots of the first time you're seeing it, and you spend most of your time in this game, and it's like,
You actually like when they have map changes. It's like a live event, and you see what's
Yeah.
happening to the map.
It's cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool, right?
Smart. I think like Fortnite to the younger generation is like us playing like WoW back in the day, like old classic
like
WoW.
experiencing like something
Yeah.
like for the first
Like,
time.
bro,
Like, yeah, this
war,
is
getting 40
crazy.
people together,
Yeah.
killing Ragnaros, like that kind of stuff's like memorable experiences that we had, and the events, because WoW had events too, that you were like, oh my god, and other games had that too. I mean, Pokemon had some big events, so you can get like your mythic Pokemon, you have to be on at a certain time, kind of thing. So there's lots of things like that. I think people, when that generation gets older, they're gonna talk. They'll talk about Fortnite for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
and it's a cool thing. I mean, good on Epic Games. So
But stick to the BR though. Don't the Among Us that Among Us looked bad, man. I don't know. It looked.
You can't
it looked bad.
cancel that, dude.
It looked. It looked
Excellent, yeah,
terrible. I'm sorry.
So a quick little thing. Cyberpunk came out. Lots of good praises from it, except for the poor bastards playing it on PS4 and Xbox One. My friend has it on PS4 and he says it crashes like every 30 minutes. He goes, besides that, it's fun. It's like, oh man, it's sad.
That's
So it begs the question. They delayed it because they said they have all these different like ports, like
Yep.
not just the next gen, but the old gen and PC to make it forth. They're like, we gotta make sure it's all fleshed out and good. It seems like they fucking lied because it's not working.
I
good on
think
the
they
old
had
system.
priorities, and
Yeah, I think they had priorities. Part of me begs this question: just don't really. If it wasn't gonna work well on the old systems because it was too powerful a game, don't fucking put it on the old systems. It's not that big of a deal. Like,
Okay.
if anything, it's gonna make people want to buy the new systems and your game even more.
Yeah, and they're losing money on this because they're doing like massive returns, right?
Oh yeah,
they're
and their
taking.
stocks have dropped.
Well, they stopped selling it on.
Yeah,
Those
it's taken off the
platforms.
PS5 store or
Yeah.
the PS4 or the PlayStation.
Yeah, so
store.
I mean, like if it's that bad, man, just
I think okay. So you say it's not a big deal to like accommodate the PS4 like console, right? So it's like the problem with the PS4 console. It was released a while ago, and it's just older hardware, right? It just doesn't have
Yeah.
the newer stuff.
10
It
years
can't,
old.
it can't be as strong. So okay, so so I agree. They should have not released for the PS4, and they should have just had a PC release, and then maybe release in the PS5, right? And then maybe like
yeah.
this,
People are
that's it,
gonna
right?
buy the
Don't
game.
release
Should have been
PS4.
all next gen.
So
Yeah.
the problem is that like there's so many people that own a PS4, and the PS5 just came out, and so not a lot of people have a PS5. A lot of people still own a PS4 because it's from then.
Yeah,
And
they're
so
just
if you-
sold out.
And so if you release this for like PC only, it's PC exclusive or PS5.
It doesn't
It feels bad for owning a PS4 and you can't play this game that's super hyped. And I
And you can't
understand.
get a
well, you
PS5
can't
because it's
you
out
can't
so
play it
much.
anyways right now because
And I understand why they wanted to release for PS4. But it's just
I
like
think there should have been a
the-
better collaboration between what the fuck's going on with the next gen consoles and your game.
just the technical requirement to run Cyberpunk
Yes.
at a good at a good setting, it's just not available in PS4, and that should have been communicated. And they should have just told everyone it's not going to run on this.
Or wait a couple months, flesh out the game to make it
exactly.
more optimal for that
the issue is they dug
PS4.
themselves in a fucking hole by like delaying all this shit. And when they, I mean, think about this. This game was supposed to release like months ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been even fucking worse probably for those people. So,
but they released a game that's almost unplayable. So in my opinion, that's worse. That's worse than just
I agree.
pushing
just
it,
having it limited.
because now you're tarnishing your reputation as like a producer, like a game producer, right?
I agree. That's definitely worse. And
Yeah.
but the problem is, I understand why they wanted to release for PS4.
I understand, but it was a terrible idea.
Should have
and I
waited,
don't think they've
man.
done it.
They should have just waited,
Either
optimized the
waited
game.
or just been like, "Hey guys, we're releasing it. We can't predict how Sony is going to handle their consoles. But our game's out. You can get it on PC and PS5, and you get a PS5. Hopefully, you get our game. That's really the best way you could have done it, because you can't. CD Projekt Red doesn't have rights to how many consoles Sony makes. So I mean, it's either A, you should have been like, "Hey guys, the game's done.
This
but
next gen
we
game.
don't want to release it yet because there's a shortage on PS5 consoles, so we're gonna wait." Or B, to say, "Fuck it, we're releasing it, and hopefully when you get your PS5 or a better computer, you can play it."
Don't put out a game that you can't play, man.
Yeah,
that people are gonna return.
because you can't play it. That person who owns the PS4 and plays it and it sucks, when he gets a PS5, he's probably not gonna buy that game now.
And
It's already
yeah.
sucks.
You already got a lot of backlash. Now your community image is terrible, and it's like, man, that sucks.
It's
No,
like-
because I heard our buddies Jaren and Minnie talk about it. They said the game's really cool.
Yeah,
It's
they love the
people
game.
love it, yeah.
They play on PC,
as long as you can play it, it's really good.
So I mean, like now when CD whatever Red produces a game, people are gonna be like,
Well,
"Is
hopefully, I mean,
this game
yeah.
gonna work?"
So we're moving to next gen, and like, people will have studios are gonna have to axe making stuff for PS4 because it was such older
It's
hardware.
part of it, man.
Or-
that's how
what
it's
it is.
always
Yeah.
been.
Or you just wait.
not
Or
new.
that release has to come out 6 months, a year later, till they figure out how to optimize the game
You know what they
for
should have
older
done? They should have just
generations.
not. Okay, there's no way they didn't know the PS5 was coming out soon because they're making the game for the PS5. So they knew when the PS5 is coming out. They knew like Final Fantasy 16 didn't come out day one of the PS5 release. They're waiting till like next year when everyone's gonna have a PS5. That's the smart move, I think. That's what you should have done.
So when when PS4 first came out, and like Xbox 360 and like PS3 first came out, they had
A bunch of games.
they had release games, right?
Yeah.
That was made
You
for
have some
that
games
console.
that are released.
Yeah.
They had release games that was made for that console, and you can only play on that console. They should just do
that.
that for PS5 and like the new Xbox. Yeah,
I agree. But if you were worried about like backlash from people on PS4, then just fucking wait till next year when everyone has a PS5.
Yeah,
Boom.
those people who have PS4s and are complaining about not being able to play that game will eventually buy a PS5, right?
I think a lot
It's
of
like-
people will learn from what has happened with this game, and like studios in the future will. I mean, because like I don't know, I can't really think of anything that's like this has happened before.
not this bad. I don't.
Yeah, not like off the top of my head. So like I think now that this happened, it sucks that it happened to Cyberpunk, but like I guess it's a learning experience for everyone, and everyone can take from it.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
swift L.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So,
Oh.
let's talk about Twitch. Then we'll talk about the Jake Paul comment. Wanna do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Twitch bans the words "simp," "incel," which I just learned the other day, which is like, what is it like? You can't get laid.
It's involuntary celibacy.
Right. So you just
Celibacy.
can't get laid. And what the? Who gives a what? Come on, guys. What world do we live in where you have to ban words?
Apparently, it's
Honestly,
very.
I get it.
offensive to
People
some
are getting offended by being called simps or something, but the crazy thing about online bullying is that you could just fucking mute people. You can block people. Like, I'm sorry, from a person who got bullied in real life,
Yeah.
I'd much rather get bullied online because I can block people. You can't block the guy who's,
Yeah.
trying to beat you up. Or
I have
something.
a
You can't be like,
visible-
"Oh, you know what? Let me just go into my settings and block you.
Yeah.
Can't do that. No, you just get beat up. That's
Yeah,
it.
you just get bullied
That's
real
it.
life.
And the next day you go to school, that dude's still there. But when I log on to WoW and someone's messaging me simp or on Twitch he's calling me an incel, I block that guy. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
sorry if you're donating hundreds of dollars to some chick, you're kind of a simp.
You're simp, bro.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
And
I
don't even think that it's the chicks. Even when you're donating to like any streamer, like hundreds of dollars, I've seen people give like Trick 2G thousands. It's fucking nuts. It's bonkers. I mean, like, if you got the money and that's what you want to do with it, that's fine. But it's kind of weird. You know?
You support content creator that much.
That's
I mean,
fine.
you're kind of simping for them. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
It doesn't matter if they're a chick or a dude, and you're a dude or a chick. You giving them $1,000, you're a simp. You know, I give $5 and I feel weird about it sometimes.
I think them banning the specific word simp in Subversion is kind of just. It's
So
weird,
whack.
and then when it was announced, I was on Twitter and I was scrolling. This a lot of the community feels the same. They're like, "Where the fuck this come from?" It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know
So weak.
who on the Twitch team got hurt, but
It was like this is
so
The Twitch team got called a simp, and he was
Okay.
like, "Fuck you guys."
yeah.
so my
'cause-
so my thing is like
Getting it.
this is I mean so Twitch thinks this is a problem, but okay so they invested time into this. You know, obviously they had to go through meetings. So they're using their money to solve this
Someone
problem.
greenlighted this.
Solve this problem. Okay, now the problem is they could have used this time to try to fix like the DMCA problems all the Twitch streamers have been having and stuff like that. It's like you invested time to fix this problem apparently when you could use this time to fix a bigger problem, which was
Which is the DMCA trying to give people fucking felonies for playing.
jail time.
DMCA
Yeah,
right now
so
is
stupid.
so huge. It's like how can you not focus everything that you have into
Maybe
this?
this
It's
is
like,
a
bro, what's
distraction from that.
I'll tell you what. Right now, this is getting closer and closer to being the fall of Twitch.
Yeah, what is
happening?
happening?
We're back to Mixer, dude.
Yeah, because if you're gonna get fucking muted myself.
Yep.
If you're gonna get fucking jail time, I mean, like, that's nuts.
I'm
And
not-
the programs
I'm not
that you
risking
work for-
anything.
you work for Twitch technically. When you're a partner, of
You're a
Twitch,
partner, yeah,
They're
you-
paying you. You kind of are working for them. They should at least be trying to protect you a little bit. It's
Not
like-
give you jail time.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. I mean,
It's
like
wild.
the fact that they're just sitting back and letting this happen is ridiculous.
And then
And-
their only solution is to delete everything. Like, what is
Yeah.
that? What kind of solution is
All
that,
their
dude?
content.
Delete everything?
Like,
No,
imagine going to your workplace and your boss is like, "Hey, like, if you do this shit, you're going to fucking jail." I'd be like, "All right, well, I quit, man. Like, I'm not. I don't want a fucking felony."
Yeah.
Hello?
Were you listening to Tupac while you were working? Yeah. Well,
Jail.
don't do that because you're gonna go to jail.
What's that scene from Parks and Rel? You're late for the appointment, straight to jail. Early for the appointment, straight to jail.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just okay. So it's just, dude. Like they
Fucking
put some time into the whole banning the worst thing, but it's like, bro, like you have such a bigger problem on your hands right now. This is not something you should be worried about.
Jail
It's-
time's so crazy.
Who's worried about it?
To think about
Yeah,
that,
like-
fuck you guys. Like, they're not stealing your content. They're playing fucking chess with fucking Eminem on in the background or
Yeah.
Taylor Swift. They're not playing music to get viewers.
They're not like, "This is my
playing
song."
The game and your songs in the fucking background. Like, I said it before, so I don't want to go over it again. But if anything, it just adds more listeners for those artists. Like I said, I don't know how many times that I'm watching a stream, or not anymore, but back in the day, and they were playing a new album or something, people were like, "What album is this? What song is this? Where do I look this up?" It increases the viewership, the listenership to that artist and that song. It's bonkers to me. I don't get it. It is so backwards.
Yeah, it's
We have some
it's
fucked up priorities here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's also that Twitch is growing. A lot of people are getting invested into community and like they love streaming and so that it's also sucks that it's growing and then like they get shit like this, right? It's like
Yeah.
Fuck, you can't even play normal music on your streaming. Bro.
Yeah.
Like being afraid that your shit's gonna get deleted, or you're gonna get sued. Or
And
something.
now, deleted's one thing. Like that seemed like aggressive, but jail time is fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
A felony?
That is fucking so much further. That's so
Increase for
wrong.
playing games in
What-
front of people and
what-
having some background music.
Imagine
Like,
going to
really?
jail and they're like,
Really?
what are you here for? I was playing some music in my stream. They're like, what?
I was playing Mariah Carey's
Yeah.
"Merry Christmas."
It's like
song
that
while
that
playing Call
dude
of
murdered
Duty.
5 people. I'll be like, yeah, we're in the same jail. It's fine.
He's like, "Oh,
Hardened-
He's like, "Yeah, that's all I did." Well, good. Meet me over here.
Hardened criminal. I'm a hardened criminal for playing music.
Drop the soap.
So that's so fucking crazy. I don't know, dude. It's like it's a wild thing, but Twitch has got to do something for their content creators because that's just
Yeah.
it's fucked up.
You guys,
I'm not even a big content
Listen.
creator, bro. I feel bad for everyone else that's like huge and like have to deal with
Twitch
this
is gonna
shit.
be like, "All right, guys, we figured it out."
you gotta stop worrying about the Simpson
Don't say
incels
simp.
and start worrying about everyone else.
We figured out how to stop the DMCA. Don't call them incels.
Yeah. Fuck this.
Yeah, we're banning that word. That'll help you guys out. All right, next up though, you want to talk about toxicity? Jake Paul, in a Instagram live video, I think it was, talks shit about Conor McGregor
And his wife.
Calls his wife. He goes, "I bet you're probably jerking off because your wife is a 4."
4 out of 10, baby.
Gnarly. You talking shit about, man. Now, I will say this. Conor McGregor has said some pretty shitty things about other people's wives, like Khabib and other people and stuff like that. So I understand trying to hype up the fight. I don't feel bad for Conor. I'm not saying like, oh, his feelings are hurt. For Jake Paul, I'm like, bro, this dude is an MMA fighter, and he would whoop your fucking ass in the octagon. Now, honestly, I think Conor McGregor if it's not for the fact that like Jake Paul has like 50 pounds on him. I mean, I would say Conor McGregor could probably box me. Conor McGregor boxed the best boxer in the world.
Yeah.
He lost, but I mean, it wasn't like he got his ass fucking beat. You
No, he
to the
went-
ending, you could say the strikes were a little bit different, but bro, I just saying Conor McGregor's done some wild shit. He's fucking punched an old man in the bar.
Through a chair,
He
through
fine
a
dude, bro. He'll
fucking.
beat your fucking ass.
Which
Yeah.
ass in the streets, dude.
Yeah. Street fighter in the octagon, McGregor would beat the
Yeah.
shit out of that.
You,
That guy
you,
should
you
watch
know
out.
the
That's
context of
stupid.
everything when Nate Diaz, who could arguably be like Conor McGregor's like biggest rival or arch enemy, was like, Jake Paul needs to get his ass beat
Yeah, it's like, bro.
on
I don't
Conor
think Jake
McGregor's
Paul
side.
means it. I think Jake Paul is just trying to hype it up so much that
Yeah.
Conor goes, "All right,
Well,
then let's fucking."
He also
box."
offered him $50 million for
Yeah,
the
50
fight.
million.
So
Now, part of me is like, Conor, this dude just called your wife a 4, and he's offering you 50 million. Maybe you should box him.
yeah, but at the same time, Conor is
You want to
still
buy into that bullshit.
yeah.
though.
Conor is also still a fighter, and he's still trying to like do professional fights. So I
You
think
don't want to end your.
yeah,
You don't want to end your record by getting beat by Jake Paul, because that's.
your career is done at that point,
that's
right?
Yeah,
your name is ruined after
And
that.
and not for not. I mean, in a boxing match with the weight advantage and reach
Yeah.
advantage, I don't know if he's much for reach advantage. But the
It-
weight advantage that Jake Paul has, and Jake Paul knows how to box. He is no professional by any means, but he knows how to box. Who
Yeah, he's
knows
been
what can
training for
happen?
2 years, yeah.
But I will say that Conor McGregor has always been a striker. So if I had to put money on it, it would for sure be fucking like. I wasn't surprised that Nate Robinson lost to Jake Paul. I would be shocked if Conor McGregor lost.
I would definitely be
Yeah.
stunned if Conor took it out to Jake Paul. Though. I mean, Nate Robinson and like, Jake Paul thing was like, I mean, okay, whatever. Nate Robinson's not really a boxer, but you know. Okay, so
you didn't practice.
he didn't look like he practiced. That's for sure. So okay, so I get what Jake Paul's doing, right? He's trying to build some like
Hype.
build some hype and try to like rile Conor up and try to get fans riled up to try to force Conor into this fight, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's like? I heard that.
This guy did.
So the problem here, okay, so the thing is, like, so after the Nate Robinson fight, Jake Paul was actually very, like,
Humble.
chill, humble,
Yeah.
right? And he was, like, he gave praise to Nate and stuff like that. And and so a lot of people, well, even myself included, like, have a little more respect for him to hold himself to, like, a higher standard, right? And then a week later, he comes out a total degenerate and fucking does this shit to Connor. It's like it calls him out like,
Yeah.
bro, you can't just like.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he
He
definitely
knows
what he's doing.
like
But it's
Conor
bro,
Conor McGregor is also a very similar, right? You see, well, in a lot of cases, you see Conor like really talk shit before a fight in those press conferences, and then after, well, Conor has said some shit after, but a lot of times, you know, if he respects his opponent, you know.
It's more calm. It's more calm after the fight's over, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so he does a lot of trash talking, but that's like also when the fight is like agreed upon and it's like happening, right?
Yeah.
And he goes to press conferences before and talks about shit, you know, calls people motherfuckers and whatever.
Yeah. Well, Jake knows he can't just get a fight straight up, right? So he has to do everything he can to edge Conor on and get the fans behind him, get people really wanting to see this fight, right? Because without it, like without like the community and like the fans,
It's not gonna happen.
it's not gonna happen.
But also Connor has to care.
Yes.
I mean, he's gotta give a fuck. If he doesn't give a fuck, he's like,
Yeah,
who the fuck is this guy?
Jake
He
has
doesn't
to
give a
make it
fuck.
personal to get Conor to care, right?
Yeah, I get that. It's just man,
It's wild.
it's wild.
And never in my life would I ever talk shit about a professional fighter's wife.
I think someone asked Connor about it, and he's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" It's like, and just walked away or something. He's like, "What the fuck is happening?" But I don't know. It's. I mean, it would be weird if they get that fight up
Yeah, I don't
up and
know.
going.
Maybe get like a semi-pro to fight Jake first, and then go from there, huh?
Cool. You got anything else to say about that, Matt? Since you're,
Namen.
I think Jake Paul has to probably fight someone else before he starts fucking talking shit to Conor McGregor.
Yeah, like an actual fighter.
Not only that, Conor McGregor's about to fight Justin Poirier,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he's way more concerned about that because that's an actual fight he could lose.
Yeah.
Right, that's a real fight.
Yeah, like I said,
think
he's
it's
still
way-
a fighter, so
Yeah.
he's still training for
Right
actual
now,
fights.
He's not going to invest his time and energy into Jake Paul. Now, maybe after he might be down. Especially if he loses, I could see him being down. Like, fuck yeah, I'd have lost. I'm going to beat the shit out of this kid, kind of thing.
you think Connor says something if he wins that fight at the end of in the octagon? He
Fuck
says
no,
something.
he's not going to get that guy
Nah.
a time of day.
Yeah.
No, he would want to fight the next. Like if he's fighting for a belt at this point, right? So he's gonna call out the next guy who's above him in rankings, or call out the belt holder. He's not gonna.
He's not going to say anything to Jake
Yeah.
Paul. Because
Well-
if that only helps Jake Paul, it does not help Conor.
Khabib's not in the division anymore, so maybe Connor has a chance.
Don't do Conor like that. I want to see Jake Paul fight
Khabib's a
Khabib.
fucking savage. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That guy rustled a bear, so swims down freezing cold rivers up current.
Yeah, that guy's a legend.
No.
So, well, glad we talked about that. Cut that off our chest. 'Cause fucking hey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Tran, did you watch The Mandalorian?
I did.
Alright,
So
alright.
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. We're talking
Spoiler
about the
Lots of spoilers. Spoilers.
Season
spoilers,
finale.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Let's just do a recap. Tran, how did you enjoy this season? Let's
Okay,
talk about the finale. Let's just talk about how did you like the season?
so I will say obviously I'm not as invested in Star Wars as maybe you guys are, but like, so the beginning of the season, I was like, it was okay. Once I got into like maybe the last like about 4 or 5 episodes, I was really into it. I was super excited to watch it and super excited to see what was gonna happen. I was like definitely a lot more invested. And when it came down to like the last 2 episodes that I watched last night was fucking stoked and excited.
Bonkers.
Everything was fucking wild, yeah. And I was actually really excited. And okay, so I don't usually do this, but like to understand everything, I actually looked up some articles online to see like what was going on. And so I'm more in this stage of trying to understand like what is happening and like really kind of more invest into it. So I think from an outside looking in perspective, I am definitely I enjoy it a lot, and I'm actually really excited to be talking about the show with you guys too, and to like have you guys give me information and stuff like that.
Cool.
And more learning about the universe and stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah. Hit me up, baby.
Yeah.
So, season semi-finale. I think that was one with Bill Burr. When they go in to the like the foundry or whatever, where they do all the bomb stuff.
Yep.
Kind of crazy because this guy's so like
Real quick. Okay, maybe I missed this. Was Bill Burr in season 1 or earlier in the season?
he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I recognized him, but I just can't remember which episode he was in. So
Yeah, he's actually pretty good in this series. I mean, I don't think he's a great actor or anything, but he fits the part and he's pretty funny. I thought he was really good in this season, this semi-finale though.
Yeah.
Episode 7, really good. But so Mando's always like, I don't take my helmet off, I don't do anything, and you see that it is just showing how much he cares for Grogu because he takes his helmet off, goes into a stormtrooper outfit. They go to find out the Moff Gideon's coordinates. They sit down. He has to do a face scan because Bill Burr refuses to do it. Takes his fucking helmet off. Does all this shit.
in front of
the whole
everyone.
time he's having a drink and shit. And then I like how like Bill Burr is so hurt by what happened in that battle where everyone died and the guy made some.
That guy's
basically
talking
decision
shit.
to sacrifice his whole regiment.
Yeah.
And he's talking shit from him, and things happen. Bang, 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 bang. Blaster fights. All this shooting happens. They get rescued. They got the coordinates, and they do a threat to Moff Gideon, saying, "Hey, we're coming for Grogu, baby. I'm getting my baby back." So, nutty, right? So, I'll say this: my initial thoughts when that episode happened, because they kind of highlighted too in the recap that you go to this planet. You do the Force thingy, call for another Jedi to come get you.
Yep.
Right.
I had a thought in my head that somewhere another Jedi would come along.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to get too far ahead. But that's kind of, I had that in my head. I was like, okay, you have this whole scene and this whole big thing, an episode dedicated to him basically Force meditating. Someone must have heard it. Now, the Who was kind of wild, but anyways, so they go in, very exciting with the Dark Troopers, the fight, all this stuff. A little bit of twist of Bo-Katan and the Darksaber, because she can't just take it.
Yep.
So that was kind of interesting, and I think the whole thing made you think, like, these two are about to duke it out right here. Because I felt like up from getting into the ship and beating Moff Gideon and then getting Grogu back, it all happened pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is only like 25 minutes in. I figured like this part would be like the end right here, you know?
Yeah, when they
And then they start talking about the whole Darksaber thing and all that kind of stuff. And then boom, Dark Troopers come back, which I didn't think was gonna happen. But it makes sense.
I actually thought it was gonna happen because I felt like it was too easy of a plot,
and
right?
I agree with that too.
Right.
But I thought they were highlighting on like, because I thought they just got sucked into the void of space, and I was like, okay, that part's done.
But they're fucking robots.
Yeah, I know. But they don't focus on that. They're like, okay, one-on-one duel with him and the Dark Trooper, then one-on-one duel with him and Moff Gideon, which is a really cool fight.
Yep.
With him and that
the Darksaber, the spear,
and the Beskar spear, or whatever it was.
Yep.
So that was really cool. I didn't know Mando fucking knew melee like that, so that was sick. Really cool fight. Got the Darksaber, and then that whole little twist with like the leadership of the Mandalorian planet and everything, and then boom, Dark Troopers come back, and these guys
are badasses.
Coming back, they getting Grogu.
They breaking that door down.
Dude,
fucking
they were
super
punching the
Terminators.
glass doors to that. Yeah, it was fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say this. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just really into the show. I was just kind of absorbing it. But when they all stopped,
Yep.
I was like, someone's showing up. And I was like, I think it's a Jedi. That's my first initial thought. Like, a Jedi showing up. And then when that X-Wing popped in, I was like, boom. I even told Kate, I was like, Luke Skywalker has showed up. And she goes, how do you know it's Luke Skywalker? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but that's an X-Wing.
Yeah.
So
So
crazy. Because go on.
So sorry, but when that X-Wing first showed up, I thought it would just be like a bunch of X-Wing. Yeah. New Republic. And then there's just like just one, and then like in my mind, I actually verbally I was on Discord watching it and I was just yelling because in my mind I was like so excited because I was like it has to be a Jedi, and in my mind I was going through the possibilities. I was like, there's not a lot of Jedi alive right now, man.
No, not drive no X-Wing.
Yeah.
It comes out, and then so I read a lot of the books. I've watched the movies multiple times. I've read articles. I'm very into the lore. Luke Skywalker is extremely powerful Jedi.
Yes.
Like in the books, his powers are fucking gnarly strong. Like it's insane how strong he is.
Yeah.
So when he walks off that fucking thing, he's just fucking making these.
Bro,
He's basically making these dark troopers nothing to him. He's
Yeah.
just destroying them. I was like, that's
Force
for sure
crush.
Luke. I was like, hey, green lightsaber.
Yep, the green
How strong he
lightsaber.
is with the Force, the X-wing, and then I saw that black glove. I was
Yep.
like, he has got a robotic hand. I was like, these all point to Luke, and if that's not Luke, then that series is over.
Tease the shit out of me.
And crushes it, and I don't know. I didn't look it up. I don't know if that was CGI or just like a really good body double kind of thing.
It's CGI.
Okay, so it was
Okay, it's
awesome.
a body double with
Right.
CGI from
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark Hamill's like younger self.
Right, and then I was like, holy shit, that's fucking nuts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Luke Skywalker's in the fucking film. They put Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
in this show. I am so amped up for this right now. Because technically in the lore, I mean, he's around.
Yeah.
He just
He-
killed the Emperor.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is a thing. Like, you know,
He-
he's part of this.
Well, in the new movies, he actually started a school of foundlings.
Right.
So it all makes sense that he's picking up a baby Jedi to train him.
Grogu, who's
Yeah.
like, you know, the same species of Yoda, super powerful. So pretty fucking nuts. I'm pretty amped about that. That was just so hype.
You're not gonna explain the scene afterwards?
What he takes of R2D2?
No, where he takes Grogu away from Mando.
Yeah, so very sad that he takes Grogu away. He takes his helmet off again because Grogu's like,
Very
see that
touching
face.
moment.
Yeah.
Very
let
touching
me see
moment,
that face, baby. But very touching moment, very cool. And if it wasn't for the fact that I knew they were already filming season 3, I'd be like,
That's
It's
it.
over.
that's
Yeah.
the
That's
series
it.
finale, bro. That was amazing. So the question is, where are they going from here?
What is season 3 gonna be like?
Mandalorian. the
Are we
planet
gonna see more of Grogu? Is the real question.
I think next season. So I think what's gonna happen is because you can't just have a whole 8-episode season, not a single scene of Grogu. I think it'll pop in to show like training and stuff like that, or maybe Luke will come in, or Mando will go and visit Luke. But I don't think. But so Luke's gonna want to keep this school secret because there's not a lot of Jedi left.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's just gonna tell Mandalorian, "Hey, here's my school's on planet Yavin, whatever, like come through." Which I think in the books it is on Yavin. But, anyways, point is, I think it's gonna be all about Mandalore.
Yeah.
Mandalore. I don't know. If Bo-Katan died getting all the blaster shots because it kind of hit her armor, but I know her armor isn't Beskar.
Well,
I
was
think
that
so.
Bo-Katan or the other girl who got shot?
I don't know.
It was the one in blue. I
was the
forgot
other
her
girl?
name. Yeah, it was the other girl who got hit with.
Okay.
17
anyways,
shots.
So there's gonna have to be some sort of drama between
Yeah,
Mandalore and Bo-Katan, or
because
Mandalorian.
he
and
still
Bo-Katan,
has the
and-
sword, and that was never resolved. And
Right.
It's-
So that's all. And then I think they're gonna have to fight the Empire to regain the planet back. I think there's gonna be some sort of alliance between Mando and Bo-Katan to regain Mandalore and all that kind of stuff. Because I think Boba Fett's probably gonna be invested in it a little bit potentially. I know that his mission was done. That once Grogu's safe, so he may just peace out. But he may be a little interested in trying to get the planet back, even though he's not technically Mandalorian. He's just a clone. But he's also having his own show, so he may just like peace out, and then that's when they open up his thing. I don't know. What do you guys think?
this is Boba Fett, or
No, just what's gonna happen in season 3.
so obviously he still has the dark saber, and Bo-Katan wants the dark saber, and they have to fight for it because that's how the saber is transferred. Is winner takes it.
Win by victory.
Yeah. So I
yield.
I yield.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Like
Take it, man.
I feel like there's gonna be some timeline with him doing stuff with Bo-Katan.
There's got to be some sort of drama. With
Like I don't know if it's gonna be drama or just like a coalition between the two. But also at the end, there was a scene where Boba went back to, I don't know what planet, and he retook like his
Took his throne or whatever.
throne, or I'm not
Yeah.
sure what
I'm not sure,
happened
yeah, I'm
there.
not sure what the ending scene was right there.
I think that's gonna be something regarding his own show because we are gonna get a Boba Fett show.
Okay.
Who was the guy that he blasted? You guys know?
I think it's just some
Some
random guy who took his seat when
He took shit, yeah.
left
no
or
idea.
whatever, or
So,
was presumed dead.
So I kind of want to talk about like so Grogu is obviously like I feel like is a cornerstone of the show like for the first like
I think
2
this would be a
seasons.
tough turning point for the show to not
So
have
do you,
Grogu.
yeah, so do you think they're not gonna have Grogu be a main character anymore? Because I kind of think the opposite, where
I
it's
don't
like
know how
so
they could.
Yeah.
okay maybe it's because I read some shit online and I was like maybe going through whatever, but so I read this thing online where it's like Grogu is obviously he's with Luke right now and like he's gonna get trained and stuff like that, but it's like I think it was something about the decision of him either choosing the Force or like Jedi training or choosing family, which he considers Mando as his family, right? And so read something about season 3 could possibly evolve around that decision for Grogu, as in he's
Yeah,
still going to be a pillar of the show, and he's going to have to come down to make that decision whether he chooses to train
Yeah,
with
it's
Luke
very
for longer
possible
or
that
he
he
chooses.
decides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or
very
chooses
possible
family.
that while we're doing the whole Mandalore planet thing, you see the side piece of Grogu's struggles with learning the Force and missing his
Yeah.
dad, basically.
Yeah,
And then maybe the end of that is him being like, Luke being like, bro, this guy don't want to learn the Force. Here you go. Here's your baby.
yeah, take the shit back.
That might be possible too. Might be Luke coming back and being like, what? Oh, Luke just trapped
He
these
just
dudes up real
fucking
quick.
throws the
Sorry.
baby at him. I don't want this anymore. Here, take this back. Take this.
Grogu told him, and that's it. And then you get more. But then it's like, what happens after that?
Yeah.
So, but there's gonna be like, oh fuck. So, I posted that article real quick on like what's gonna be happening between like all of these new shows. I mean, there's like a lot of new shows.
Yeah.
I mean, not just Star Wars, but Marvel as well. So let me look at this up real quick. There's something like 11 Star Wars series and 10 Marvel series when you add them all up. So I mean, like you're looking at like, and all this is supposed to be about new lore, not just in between 6 and 7, but just like all over in the Star Wars universe to help kind of fill in the holes and show subtle nuances and things like that. So who knows what the fuck can open up from here? We're gonna get a lot of Star Wars series.
Do you think they have a professional Star Wars person trying to make sure everything stays in line with the lore?
Oh,
The
there's
background?
there's
Like,
dudes.
I'm sure they have
There's just
have a
random. There's just
Yeah.
random dudes on the internet who already do that.
I don't know. I forget the main chick who's like the head of Lucasfilm.
I think it's like shit is everywhere, dude. Like,
heard,
yeah,
like,
you gotta have
her
people to keep this shit in line.
yeah, it's a big
Like,
team.
Yeah.
But that's what they did with the EU.
yeah.
All the books, they had a team of people who'd be like, okay, yeah, you can do this, you can't do that. No, this is not what would happen. Yeah, no, we approve this. Like people give their scripts, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how it's gonna go. So, I mean, I'm sure all these shows that have been like okayed, there's already the point like that's already planned. Like they
Right.
already know what the story is gonna be, at least
Mhm.
generally about. So, and a lot of it is gonna be more like subtle, like just like Rogue Squadron. Is this gonna be more like stories about that actual squadron? Because they do a lot of missions.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano is gonna be a big one because that's gonna be
Oh.
her own little thing because we have
That's
a
a
lot of
lot.
information with that. Boba Fett will also be more like a cool, like just space cowboy kind of story with him. I didn't think Mandalorian was gonna become so involved in the story as it is now.
Yeah.
Like with Luke and Ahsoka, like I thought it was just gonna be a lot of cool because season 1 was a lot of like
Just random
really
things.
random space cowboy missions, and it was awesome. And obviously, with Grogu being there, something was around with that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I did not know it'd be turned into this.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's cool though. But with all the other series coming out, I mean, there's so much potential for everything. So
Okay, I want to ask. Do you guys like with Luke coming into the last episode? Obviously, it was CGI. I said this earlier. It was CGI. They had a double, and they had Mark Hamill's like younger self CGI'd onto him. Do you think that was the right decision, or do you think maybe recasting the character would have been okay?
No, I think that's
you
the right
can't recast-
decision.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the right decision. It's
Yeah.
like when
Yeah.
they did CGI'd Leia in Rogue One.
Yep.
You can't have another Leia. I mean, like to have a recasted Luke. I
It'd
mean,
just be
maybe if they recast him, he'd have to look really fucking similar.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
You
maybe.
can't do that because Luke, dude, his face. He has been Luke Skywalker since the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on
I mean,
all the
I-
books. Like it's
That's
just like
40
his
years.
face.
Actually, yeah, almost more than 40 years of he is Luke Skywalker. That's the face. You change that, dude. I think it'd be too weird. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
enjoyed it personally.
It would have been the same. I would have been confused, honestly.
You don't
for a
think it's
little
like
bit.
kind of weird? That's just like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just me that is like it's kind of weird. That it's just like a CGI, right? Maybe not an actual person.
It is. I mean,
Just
I
maybe
see
it's
what
because
you're-
maybe because I just know that, right? I
don't-
just,
Yeah, I see
I
what
don't know.
you're going with, but I think it'd also be too weird for the community if you just
Yeah.
didn't have. I think it'd be strange if he was in the show longer than the 5 minutes
That's
he was in.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's
Okay,
like,
okay, yeah. If he was playing more of a role, maybe I
Yeah,
understand more.
but he
recasting
basically
character.
popped on, took his hood off, said, "Give me the baby, fuck off," and then left. Like that was kind of like his scene. If he's like they gave Luke his own fucking show, then it
Yeah.
might be a little too much because then you're like, okay, this isn't like really him. But if it's really good, then who gives a fuck, honestly? But yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree. But end of the day, I mean, like everything. Grogu's fucking CGI. I mean, I know he's a little alien baby, and it's obvious, but like, you know, at some point you just kind of suspend your disbelief and just enjoy the show, and I think that's what would happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but good question. Yeah, I like that. So, alrighty then. Well, next year December I think is when the season 3 comes out. So we got a lot. We got a long time to wait. But I think Obi-Wan's coming out. Sooner
Yeah, there's a
than that next
couple.
year.
There's a couple Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get plenty of things Star Wars lore to talk about because there's new books. They're also coming out with the High Republic soon. That's always been showcased. So it's gonna be pretty nutty.
Fucking lit.
Be good time.
Well, I think we gotta end it here.
Yeah.
Before I
I
get
think-
yelled
Yeah.
yeah.
So, well, guys, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I think this weekend I'm gonna make Instagram.
Oh, okay. Just real quick news. Next week is holidays. It's Christmas and other holidays you enjoy. So we
not
are
be
not going to
recording.
be. We will not be recording next week. So we will be. Our next episode will come out in 2 weeks.
2
right?
weeks. Yep.
Yes, correct. And I think I'm gonna try to spend this time while we're not recording to make an Instagram page.
Grinding.
Grinding to not on weekdays. Yeah. And so grind. So I might make an Instagram page, and I think I'm gonna start trying to make more clips of some more videos to put on the Instagram page and on the Facebook page, and start trying to develop that a little bit more. So I think that's my goal since we're not recording next week.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Peace.